brought to you by Saab and your local Saab dealers, who invite you to test drive the Saab 900 and new 900 Turbo Coupe and Convertible. And by cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
Lubbock, Texas tonight. Southwest Conference matchup between the Horns and the Red Raiders. And now let's take a look at the McDonald's starting lineup for the Texas Longhorns. Head coach Tom Penders. Tonight we'll see Rich McIver in the middle, Carlton Dixon and Tremaine Wingfield to start at the forwards. Terrence Rencher and Roderick Anderson, the 5'10 senior. And he has been having an awfully good year. Tonight is the night he needs to step up big again. For James Dickey of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, Jason Martin, Lance Hughes at the guards, Jason Sasser, Mark Davis, Darvin Ham in the middle, and Mark Davis, a 6'7 senior, and a young man that a team-high 9 double-doubles. He also has 2 triple-doubles. Very important to this Red Raider ball club. Ball is in the air, tip goes to the backcourt, and it will come to the Red Raiders. This is Martin, number 13.
Texas opens up in a straight man-to-man defense. Here's the trap.
Stolen. Roderick Anderson and Martin will pick up the foul as he reached out and grabbed it. Now the officials in tonight's ball game. Well, this is a great crew here. The referee, Don Rutledge. The 2 umpires, Jerry Donahue and Rusty Herring.
Let's see how Texas Tech opens up in their defense. They're straight man-to-man. Again, the 1-4 setup. Rencher up high. Hughes guarding him. Tough assignment.
Rencher straight in, blocked by Davis. Knocked out of bounds by the Red Raiders, and it will stay with the Horns.
You know, Ryan, this game is really shaped up. It's the Texas backcourt against the Texas Tech front court. Texas Tech loves to dunk and block shots. Texas, on the other hand, loves the three-point shooting, and they love the pressure.
Off Anderson, Texas Tech ball. Well, close call games. I talked about the double overtime, the 128-125, then 105-103, and then Texas won it in 92, 93, 90. This series has been close in recent years. It's a very high-scoring affair. In the middle, knocked away by Wingfield.
Nice ball movement by Texas Tech.
3 on the way, and he puts up an air ball. Davis well off the mark on that one. Rencher left alone, and he will miss on a 3. And the Red Raiders will push it right back up, and they have numbers at 3-2.
Well, they're not going to back up. I guess we're going to get into triple digits again this year, huh?
Sasser with his first 2 of the night as the Red Raiders go on top. And after the Butterflies get away on this one, I think it will be up and down all night. Be surprised if it were not. Anderson lost the handle, battled for it, turnover against the Longhorns. The Red Raiders can't stand prosperity as they turn it over.
I think the adrenaline's running at a pretty high level right now. Both of these clubs may be a little out of control. There's a good steal by Martin, holding his defensive position against Anderson, who's trying to penetrate. He come up with one and they throw it away. Watch the Texas alignment on offense. It's a 1-4 alignment. Then they come with a high post pick. Anderson trying to use it right here.
Anderson dishes to the corner. Dixon for 3. In and out. The follow by McIver, and Texas is on the board.
Well, they let McIver come to the game tonight, but they wouldn't let him come to the shoot-around today.
Tell me exactly what that story was about. I heard the players laughing about it as they came to the shoot-around.
Actually, what happened was they had an obstacle shoot-around at the Temple game, and he opted not to shoot. In fact, he stayed home and slept and had a great game against Temple. So he got on the bus today, so he see a basket scored by Tech, and they threw him off the bus. The players said, "You're not riding with us. You can't go." They let him play tonight, though.
Had a good omen, and they wanted to stay with it. Red Raiders are 15-7 on the year. The Longhorns are 17-5.
McIver wants it inside.
Dixon drives it all the way to the hoop. Had it partially blocked on the way to the hoop, and the freshman was denied.
Boy, Mark Davis with good defensive work inside. Good trap there by Texas, and Martin gets through it.
Martin lost it, dishes it off the hand. That's a nice give, and an easy 2, and it's a 4-point Red Raider margin.
Ron, this first game that these two clubs played, they had played a number of games leading up to that contest, and Tom Penders told me it was very sloppily played, because like tonight, they may have a little bit better game.
McIver tried to reverse it. He'll come back out on top. And Anderson almost lost it.
Texas Tech doing a nice job of keeping the ball away from the inside. Making it tough on Anderson and Richter. This great backcourt of Texas. Maybe as good as anybody in the country. Any pair.
Anderson, he got bumped on the way to the hoop. Sasser dishes inside, and Davis dishes it off the glass. And it's an 8-2 Texas Tech lead.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. These three guys are going to let him play tonight.
Almost stolen, taken back by Anderson. There are some awfully quick hands on the floor.
I'll tell you, Jason Martin is extremely quick guarding Anderson.
Dixon into the middle. Unlucky on a shot, and Davis comes down with the rebound. And the Longhorns getting only one opportunity and unable to follow it up with an offensive board.
Pass.
Ham misses the hoop, but he traveled.
Number 32, Reggie Freeman, in for Texas.
Reggie Freeman checks into the lineup for the Longhorns. Dixon will go to the bench. As Tom Penders looks on as his ball club has only scored 2 points in the first 4 minutes. And at the clip they score at, this is well below their pace.
Well, you're looking at some of the leading scoring teams in the nation, not just in the conference. Jerry Donahue may have Martin going to the bench with some blood.
Took a look at him, and Donahue called the timeout, patted his chest, and you can see that the youngster's lip has been hit. So Coy Smith, a junior, 2-year letterman out of Hale Center, Texas, will check in. He's 6'5".
One of the signs of the 90s, huh?
Boy, I like the rule, though. I think it's a good rule.
I do too.
Way outside. Anderson, and he swishes the three.
That long range.
He almost shot that from Hale Center.
Pressure again by Texas.
Pass inside. It has been left open. Tech again scores. As the middle, when you concentrate 3 out front, Larry, sometimes you have to give up something inside.
Well, it was a nice move by Ham in there. Look at this 1-4 alignment. Texas will do this all night. They'll try to isolate and use those guards.
Reggie Freeman left alone. The southpaw with the 3. So all of a sudden, the Horns warm it up with back-to-back 3-pointers, and it's a 10-8 ball game.
They got some guys who can shoot them. Richter can throw them up there. Freeman, Anderson.
Speaking of somebody who can light it up, he's for 3. He's unlucky on the shot. And over the back, whistle on the foul against Texas Tech. And Rusty Herring says, I called the foul, Jason Sasser. Don't talk back to me. So let's take a break. Timeout with a 15:06 left until halftime. 2-point Red Raider lead.
Have you had your break today? Is that a McDonald's double cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Could I have a teensy-weensy little bite? Just a nibble?
Okay.
Now McDonald's famous original double cheeseburger or our morning fresh sausage McMuffin with egg is just 95 cents.
Have you had your break today?
95 cents only through the end of February.
Saabs are designed to endure winters in the north of Sweden. Winters so extreme that for a whole month, the sun never rises. But let's not forget, there's a whole month of summer, when the sun never sets. A Saab convertible. Car and Driver rated the Saab convertible superior to BMW and Audi convertibles.
We've had some great games here between the Red Raiders and the Longhorns, including 2 years ago when Will Clemens was the hero.
I was in my hand. I just put it up off the glass into the square, and I knew when I put it up, it was going in. And the first thing I remember is Jason Sasser running down court. I don't know who he was running to or from, but it was very exciting. I mean, the fans poured on the court. It was one of the greatest memories I'll ever have at Texas Tech.
Well, that was Will Flemings a couple of years ago, and now you look at a Will Flemings who is an assistant basketball coach here at Texas Tech for head coach James Dickey. Very nice young man.
He just traded one suit for another one, didn't he?
And he looks very at home in this one, doesn't he?
Texas Tech back into his own defense now. They didn't like having to play that one-on-one out top with Anderson and Rincher handling the basketball, so James Dickey decided to go to the zone.
Freeman may have gotten away with the travel as he got into the lane and the quick second step, and we're tied at 10. Texas Tech shooting 71% in the early going, Larry. 5 of 7.
Look at Davis going inside.
Davis with the ripper.
Mark Davis.
I got to tell you, Ron, this one guy, when I was looking at the stats for this game, this guy impressed me so much. I mean, he just does everything. He rebounds, he passes. Great on defense. He just does everything for this club.
Inside, Tremaine Wingfield.
Nice
Dishes
pass.
it off. Left all alone was McIver. Well, Wingfield is one you have to keep an eye on. He turned his ankle last night in practice. They taped him doubly hard today. He doesn't seem to be missing anything. And from deep in the corner, Sasser hits it free. 5 points for him. Rincher with the spin move. High arcing shot. Wingfield with the tip, and he's going to be called for the violation. He was over the back.
Kind of an interesting move right there. Tremaine Wingfield actually tried to go up, and he felt like he was held on the arm. He was trying to push off with his left arm. Watch again. Here's the move by Rincher down the middle, into the lane, deep. The high lofting shot off of the rim. Now watch here. See, he's got a hold of him on the shoulder as he was trying to get up. That's a way to rebound. Just hold on to the guy and kind of propel yourself off of him.
Foul is number 12, Roderick Anderson.
Anderson picks up the foul for Texas. It is his first and the team's second. 75% for Texas Tech, 40% for the Longhorns. Lance Hughes, he tried to free him in the middle, puts up the soft jumper, not there. Wingfield battles for it, and he'll come down with it. And what I started to say just before they hit the three, his ankle doesn't seem to be bothering him now, Larry.
Tell you what, he and Rincher has a bad wrist, too. Had it hurting him in the Temple game. Not now, though.
With the reverse, he's a left-hander, and he put it up with his right.
We asked him today at the shoot-around about that, and he said it's okay.
Something he's had to play with, and he said, I just don't get enough rest to be able to get a rest. Whistle and a foul outside, and let's see it. I think it is going to be
Foul is number 32, Reggie Freeman.
Reggie Freeman called for the foul, his first.
Watch the move by Rincher right here, going down and deep and inside. Tried to swat from the backside, Mark Davis. You got to get in front of that guy.
Hughes for three. Now this guy here starts lighting it up. Hang on, because he can really do it.
Well, he hit 7 threes against Houston last week.
Anderson misses on the driving layup. Almost had an opportunity at a three-point play. Coy Smith picks up the foul, his first and the third team foul.
And Tom Penders told me tonight before the game, he says, I'm really going to try to take advantage of Hughes if I can. He said, if he's guarding one of my guys out front, I don't think he's very good defensively, and we're going to try to take advantage of it. They did early, and immediately Texas Tech went to a zone.
Ham goes to the bench. Bate checks into the lineup. In fact, defensively, we may see a lot of experimenting tonight with the two coaches as the chess match continues as to what is going to work, because the 1-4 Tech does not like Texas in that offense.
There are lots of defenses you're going to see from this Texas club. I know that Tom Penders will fool around with the box and the chaser. Likes to play a little matchup zone, full court press, half court. Right now he's in his full court press.
Anderson now with 5 points. Tech quickly to the other end. Sasser with a high archer. Can't get it. And it's Rincher with the rebound. And Rencher,
nice pass
out in the corner. Freeman for three, and he knocks down his second one.
Oh, what a trio that is. Anderson, Rencher, and Freeman. All three of those guys can deliver those shots. That was a nice pass by Rencher, getting deep into the defense.
Yeah, it was, and that's 8 quick points for Freeman off the bench. Smith driving hard to the hoop, knocks it back out to Anderson. Texas will push it up, and Anderson will go coast to coast, and he was fouled. Mark Davis gets the foul.
Here's some of the top backcourts we think there are in the country. Look at Anderson and Rencher. Points per game, assists per game. Snow and Resper, great pair up at Michigan State. Beston, Berry at Georgia Tech. Knight and Cross at Stanford. I tell you what, you put those numbers up there, you got to say Texas has got the best backcourt right now. They match up pretty well against those other combos.
Well, look at those numbers. 20-plus points, 15 of the 22 games for this young man. Davis with his first foul, and team fouls now against the Red Raiders, a total of 4, as we are about to go under 12 minutes in this opening half. It's been a very speedy one.
You know, something about Anderson I find intriguing is the fact that he is number 13 in the NCAA in assists, but he's tied for first in the NCAA in steals. That's a little bit of everything.
Davis, hard to the hoop, can't get it to go. They battle inside, and on the follow, can't get it to go, but Sasser's going to go to the line.
Texas Tech Club is one of the best rebounding teams in the country, Ron, and they're showing it right now. That was good offensive glass work.
Is first foul. He comes for 4.
Well, following our games, we're going to be taking it to McGonigal Hall as Temple will take on number 5 UMass. And they're exciting forward Lou Rowe, John Saunders, Bill Raftery for that one. 9 o'clock Eastern time. And at midnight, get the chance to see Ed O'Bannon, the number 2 Bruins of UCLA against Cal. Both games later tonight, right here on ESPN.
I think UCLA is about ready to propel themselves into that number 1 position. Nobody else seems to want to hold on to it.
No, to Jimmy Herrick, his ball club, boy, they are very, very tough.
Watched your game Monday with the Kansas-Oklahoma. Great basketball game. Kansas got to number 1, and Oklahoma really rose to the occasion.
Kelvin Sampson has done an outstanding job there. Push. Hughes is going to go to the line.
Texas Tech Club has a rebound margin of 10, which is one of the best in the country. Tell you what, they're getting on the offensive end of it pretty strong right now.
That's 2
Watch
fouls.
the move down inside. Ooh, strong move.
McIver picks up the foul. It's his second, so he'll go to the bench. And it means that Sonny Alvarado, 0-0, will come in for Texas. Sasser. Hughes battles. Who touched the last? Touch last for the Red Raiders. It'll be the Horns. 21-18, Texas.
Hey, one thing, when Sasser shoots it, it goes up in the air, doesn't
Who
it?
does that remind you of? You do Arkansas a lot. Scotty Thurman.
Yeah,
Really
exactly,
high arching shot. In fact, that's the first thing it made me think of when I saw him shoot.
Here comes that high post screen for Anderson.
Freeman, he's got the hot hand. In and out, unlucky on that one as he rat-a-tatted and the ball came out.
Nice catch. Nice catch.
Davis.
What a great lead pass by Martin.
8 points for him now.
Keep your head up. You might find some friendly faces up there. Well, Martin delivered that pass. That was a terrific catch on the other end by Davis.
Bounce pass into Wingfield. Strong move to the hoop, and just not much that Sasser could do. First 2 for Wingfield.
Freeman's responsibility is Davis. Watch him go down inside. Nice pass again.
Tony Batty, the freshman, right out of high school from Dallas. 6'9", takes it up to the hoop strong, and it's a 1-point Texas lead. Oh, good dish, and Alvarado partially blocked inside. Wingfield scores, and they'll have an opportunity for a 3-point play. Batty picks up the foul.
Anderson's so tough handling that basketball out front. 7 assists a game. When he goes deep in like that, you've got to respect his passing ability. If you come and get him, he'll drop it off. He's a good one. Watch Anderson go deep here. There's his target, Sonny Alvarado. How good would Texas have been this year if he had played in the 8 games he was injured? Really, he came in as newcomer of the year into the Southwest Conference this year.
Injured his knee in December. cleared to play again. In late January, early February, and he has come back and, as Larry said, really helped out because then the other people who were playing in his stead gave Texas even more depth inside.
Violation there on the free throw. Lance Hughes just took a stroll.
Misses on that one. Tech has the board. About to go under 10 minutes left in this opening half. And what started off is a very low-scoring game. And Alvarado with a foul away from the ball. Through an elbow, says Jerry Donahue.
Foul is on number 00, Sonny Alvarado, his first foul. Team foul number 6.
So let's take a timeout. Good look at the down court pass to Davis a moment ago. Horns by 3.
State Farm presents the rules of the game.
What happens when a player discontinues his dribble? In this play, the player dribbles, loses control of the ball briefly, and then continues to dribble. Can he do this?
When young policyholders come to me, I look at them and think, boy, that was me 15 years ago. I remember very well how quickly things changed for Debbie and me. Marriage, children, our first house. It's exactly why State Farm's family insurance checkups are such a good idea. Your agent helps you put it all in perspective so you can make the right decisions. The way you were 5 years ago is not the way you are today. It's comforting to me when I can say to my policyholders, hey, I've been there.
State Farm is there.
An interrupted dribble occurs in this play, and it is legal. When the ball is loose after momentarily getting away from the dribbler, he can continue to dribble.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The new Saab 900. It won Automobile Magazine's Design of the Year. Consumers Digest rated it a best buy. Kiplinger's Personal Finance magazine called it the best new car in its class. But with a 50% stiffer body, the new 900 is designed to survive much more than the scrutiny of the press. Lease a 900S for only $299 a month. See your Saab dealer for details.
Last year in Lubbock, Terrence Rencher's clutch shot sent the game into overtime. B.J. Tyler put the Horns up by 1 until Mark Davis's free throw tied it again. But in the second overtime, Tech took control to win 128 to 125. Mark Davis with the school's first ever triple-double. Well, there's a look at Mark Davis tonight. 28 points last year, 17 rebounds, and 11 assists. And tonight, he's off to a very good start. He's got 8 points. And we haven't played 10 minutes yet.
And Ron, he leads his club in rebounding, assists, blocks, and steals, and he's third in scoring. What else? Sells popcorn?
You think he's one of those that some of the scouts that are here tonight are looking at, right?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I mean, you got a 6'7" guard. He is so good with the ball.
Martin driving to the hoop, couldn't get it. Sasser follows and reverses it in.
They got 3 big scores, though. Sasser at 18, Davis at 17, Hughes at 17. Tell you what, we got a bunch of guys out here throwing in some points. In fact, when I was looking at the top 10 scorers in the Southwest Conference, 5 of them are in this game.
Anderson penetrates, knocks it down. He got Martin taking him into the paint.
Hard for me to believe that Anderson was cut from his junior college team at Garden City. How can you cut this guy? Oh, my goodness, can he play?
Guys have to get excited about playing each other. They're both the same size at 5'10". Although both are listed at 5'10", and Martin looks just about an inch or so shorter, doesn't he?
He does, yes.
Maybe it's shorter tennis shoes. Hughes way outside.
That's NBA range.
6 points for him. Rencher does not have an answer.
Well, I love the way Martin keeps his head up and looks up the floor for guys streaking to the other end. There's that man.
Hughes got it again. All 3 of his baskets are 3.
His last 3 games, he's 16 of 31 from three-point range. He's already got 3 in this one.
Larry, almost 60% his last 2 games from three-point range.
I
I think Simpson just got tossed.
Simpson going to the bench as Rusty Herring has gone over to talk to Tom Penders.
I saw the indication by Jerry Donahue pointing to the locker room. I think Carl Simpson, he has been ejected. Yes. Obviously a flagrant foul. I'm trying to see who's down on the floor underneath the basket there.
I'd like to remind you that you must refrain from throwing objects onto the court. It's dangerous and unfair to participants and could result in a technical foul. Arena security personnel have been instructed to remove any person from the premises who throws any object onto the court.
That T is the only one I can't account for, Larry. And I assume that's who it is.
He must have taken a real shot. I just turned around and looked down and saw him laying on the floor, and I saw the whistle blow, or heard the whistle blow, and I saw the point by Donahue. He just pointed to Simpson and said, "You're out of here."
He's got to go to the bench. He can't stay down there.
He's got to leave. You know, we had this happen to us once before this year.
It was in Iowa.
An Iowa Northwestern game. You've got to leave the bench when you've been ejected. Well, what Simpson gave Texas was a guy who is a strong rebounder. They're not going to have that tonight. He's going to have to go in there and watch this one on a monitor.
So the senior out of Galveston is ejected for a flagrant foul. He has headed up the tunnel, and as Larry said, he's going to have to watch this one on a monitor back there. 30-27 the score. In the situation, we have 8:54 left until halftime. Texas Tech on top.
Obviously, Texas with possession loses possession. 2 shots on the technical, and Texas Tech gets the ball.
Coy Smith sinks the first one.
Well, he's the right guy to shoot free throws. He's shooting 83%.
And now the Texas Tech possession, so it's a 5-point lead. And the ball comes to the other end of the floor, and that's where the Red Raiders will start it off. And now we see Texas coming to set up for full court.
It's like a straight man-to-man defense. And Coy Smith bringing it up against Freeman. A little rough out there, Ron.
Yep, but I think that's one of the reasons that he was tossed as quickly as he was. Alvarado just ran to Don Rutledge, the referee coming down.
Yes, sir.
Tip inside, whistle and a foul, and it's going to be over the back against Texas Tech.
Well, Renter made a nice move that time. He got deep into the lane. Ball wouldn't stay down for him. Texas doing a good job on that backboard.
Mark Davis picks up the foul. It's his second. Second foul on Davis, and the 6th team foul against the Red Raiders as Tom Penders Jr. checks into the ball game, and Tommy will pull the trigger on the inbounds pass.
Tom Sr. told me he's going to play baseball next year.
Yeah.
And this year, after he finishes the basketball.
Shot is good, and Anderson will go to the line. You know, one of the things that people forget about, Tom Penders played basketball at UConn, but probably baseball was his best sport.
Watch Anderson go against Martin down deep inside. So tough to stop him one-on-one. Averaging 21 a game. And as quick as Jason Martin is, it's still tough to try to keep up with Roderick Anderson.
And now that's the second foul on Jason Martin. And the one thing that James Dickey does not want to see happen, he doesn't want to see Davis or Martin pick up that 3rd foul in his first half, because that really puts him in a tough situation as far as substitution.
Nice pass.
Tip inside won't go by Hughes.
Well, you got to be able to finish that. Martin did everything he was asked of him.
Coy Smith. No, beg your pardon. Mark Davis, just what I was talking about. Just picked up his 3rd foul.
Watch right here. Little ball fake, little hesitation, crossover dribble. What did he get him for? Tripping? Is that what he called
That's
it?
what Jerry Donahue said. He said he reached out and tripped him with his left foot. So the young man who has 8 quick points has picked up his 3rd personal foul and has to go to the bench. And that's huge for the Red Raiders.
Well, you know, he really is. You talk about heart and soul of a club. This guy is everything from a technical standpoint. The rebounding, the assists, the steals, the handling of the ball. For him to be on the bench for his final 8:03 of the first half does not sit well for these Red Raiders.
Laird, he's almost got to do that until halftime, does he? He certainly can't take a chance on a 4.
Oh, no, I wouldn't bring him back. There's no way you put him back in this game with 3 fouls.
Freeman knocks down the second one, and it's a 1-point Texas Tech lead. Hughes working against Penders. Penders knocks it away. It's on the floor. And a foul is going to be called against Texas Tech. And Sasser whistled for the violation.
Anderson was in position to pick the basketball up. James Digby a little incredulous about with the look to the official. I think Don Rutledge is saying that's enough. But watch the ball loose now. Anderson's going to come up with it. He jumped on his leg. Anderson looked around and says, yeah, I should get the call.
That's 19 fouls against Texas Tech. And, of course, Texas has committed 7.
I sort of get the feeling there's no love lost between these two clubs or these two schools. Would you agree with that? You live down here. You spend time with these guys.
I don't think there's any question. The interesting thing about it is Tom Penders was complaining to Don Rutledge about something, and it was like Rutledge says, you have nothing to complain about. You just got the call. Tied at 32.
Maybe a good thing we do have a good crew tonight. These two clubs will really get into it.
Misses on the second. Texas Tech will come away with the rebound. It's Jason Sasser. Smith deep in the corner. Got it. Coy Smith way down in the corner.
Look at the quickness of Anderson.
Penders off the mark with that one. And on the attempt for the rebound, Dixon can't hold on. So there's a timeout on the floor. 7:29 left until the halftime. The Red Raiders by 3.
There's a new market opening in Georgetown, located conveniently in your cable TV. It's Cable Mart, Channel 7. Here on Cable Mart, we'll tell you what's happening in Georgetown, show you local artists, walk you through new home listings, tell you what your kids will have for lunch tomorrow, show you listings for local movie theaters, plus offer you bargains galore from local merchants. Come to Cable Mart, Georgetown's new marketplace of merchandise, ideas, news, information, and entertainment. Cable Mart on Cable Channel 7.
For the firearm, knife, and hunting enthusiast, there's no place like the Cutting Edge. The Cutting Edge in downtown Round Rock has the ultimate selection of handguns, rifles, military guns, knives, and accessories. The Cutting Edge is a Winchester advisory center specializing in Winchester ammunition. The Cutting Edge buys, sells, and trades all kinds of firearms and knives. They even take guns on consignment. They also carry law enforcement supplies and provide firearm training courses. And don't forget their weekly specials. The Cutting Edge in downtown Round Rock. They've got it all.
College hoops, every game counts. And you lost them all. But you can still make it to the tournament with the ESPN and Pizza Hut's March to the Final Four contest. Pick a team and ESPN will fly you to every tournament game they play. If they lose, forget them. You're still going to the Final Four. To enter, handprint your name, address, age, and home phone number on a 3x5 card and mail it to P.O. Box 2387, Redondo Beach, California, 90278. Then, this is the best chance we've had all year.
Here's a look at what happened just a moment ago. You see the highlighted area. And away from the ball, watch the elbow that is thrown by Simpson. Right there. Hits Batty and he goes down. We had just been told it is a mild concussion. Blow to the cheekbone. He possibly could return. But immediately the officials say flagrant foul. Simpson, you're out of here, and he was ejected from the ball game.
Right, I think you bring up a good point, something we were talking about while we were away at commercial. I think you ought to talk about it.
You know, on a flagrant foul like that, I'm not so sure that it should not be treated just like fighting, that you ought to have to sit out the next game as well, because there is absolutely no reason for that retort. I don't care what anybody's done to you, because the young man has a concussion now because of that, and he was defenseless at the time.
Huge. Good follow. Lance Hughes having a great first half for these Red Raiders. 3 threes and a nice follow on that one.
Perryman, a three-point shooter for the Horns, checks into the lineup. Anderson way outside, and he got an air ball on that one.
Oh, Tom Penders is really upset. He's going to take a timeout.
Going to take a 20-second timeout. And Tom Penders is all over Anderson.
You know, he said to me before the game today, he says, I don't want a game that's got triple digits in it tonight. I'd like to keep it in the 70s or 80s. He says, we don't want to run up and down the floor away from home. Look at him. He is all over Anderson.
Well, don't miss the high-octane offense of the Chicago Blackhawks coming up on Sunday. It's February the 26th, 8 o'clock Eastern Time live. The Chicago Blackhawks against the Dallas Stars. That's coming up this Sunday right here on ESPN. Boy, that picture tells the entire story.
If looks could kill, I think Anderson would be about 6 feet under right now.
I think he might be up in the locker room with Simpson if he had someone to replace him right now. Boy, was he hot. Stepped on the baseline. Turnover against Texas Tech.
Texas Tech again back into that zone defense. We'll see if Anderson is cool. He's not even looking at the basket now.
Anderson. Perryman way outside, off the mark with his.
That's a good move. Actually, Perryman had no chance to come and block that shot. He tried to get to the ball when he had it down, but Sasser, much too strong in the break, filling that lane. Watch him run out here. Look at the run out. Wide open, hand up, calling for the ball. Got it. Perryman got him on the arm. Sasser trying to take the blow and get the basket.
19 fouls against the Longhorns.
How about that for the last 5 games? 25 points and 8 rebounds. Tell you what, these guys can put up some impressive numbers.
Sasser now 8 points and 6 assists in this game. Just over 6 minutes to play until halftime.
Well, you know what? When Mark Davis went to the bench, Sasser's game really has picked up. I mean, he's done some things that Davis ordinarily would do for this club.
Well, it's one of those situations where somebody's got to step up in leadership.
Well, it's all going Texas Tech's way right now.
Texas had that big spurt, the big momentum, and all of a sudden it went away. As Anderson dishes, nice feed to Alvarado. Because with the penetration, they concentrated on Anderson. Alvarado left all alone. 5-point Texas Tech lead.
Good trap that time by Texas. Good handle by Tech.
He's fouled by Wingfield.
Roderick Anderson in his last 2 games has averaged 20 points and 10 assists. Watch the way he makes the cut through the lane on this zone. Go to the corner, get it back. Opening on the baseline, I'll take it. Goes down inside, looks, delivers to Alvarado, and an easy basket. Roderick Anderson with a nice look. Tell you, whatever the message was that Tom Penders delivered to Anderson, it was heard succinctly, and he got his pass where it should have been. That man can deliver verbal as well as anybody I have ever heard. I can tell you, I've listened to it. He knows how to throw the words out to his guys when they're not doing the job. An Easterner who has resided in Texas and loves his job, doing a terrific job down there.
He's made a lot of friends down in Austin. McIver pulls down the rebound after Tech gets one, so it's 40-34. Red Raiders by 6. Richards, good bounce pass. Alvarado. McIver with the follow and he'll score.
Texas getting the ball inside against that Texas Tech zone defense and getting it in there with regularity.
McIver now with 6 points. There you get the feeling that defensively, as Anderson almost comes up with another steal.
Look how quick he is. He almost got it again.
Hughes. Fouled by Freeman.
Boy, what a terrific look on the inside. The pass by Hughes. And it was Ham what Ham. All the way in. Darvin Ham on the catch. And the foul.
Number 13, Randy Harris.
Look at this look by Hughes. That's terrific. That's great teamwork.
Number 20, Darvin Ham. Shooting 1.
I love his nickname, Ham Dunk.
There's a group of people across the way that have a big sign saying Ham fans. 43-36. And the Longhorns need to get something going right here because I think halftime lead could be very big as far as momentum in this ball game. Anderson strong to the hoop. Alvarado with the follow and gets the 2.
I'll tell you, Ron, Alvarado off the bench has played very well for Texas.
McIver limping strongly back up the floor. He came down wrong. Three-pointer on the way, in and out, tipped outside in the battle board, and Card comes away with it.
Nice pass by Ham.
Sasser with the 2.
Good pass. Texas unaware.
Sasser with 11 first-half points.
Raiders staying right with that zone. Opening couple of minutes, they were in a straight man-to-man. Didn't feel like they could handle Texas. Rencher outside.
Rencher left alone, and he drains a 3. Until that moment, you got the feeling that Tech was pushing Texas just beyond where they were comfortable in shooting the ball. And it really was having an effect. Sasser. Ham battles. Hughes with the ball.
Comes up with a lot of loose balls. He can shoot the 3. He gets it done on the inside. Lance Hughes everywhere tonight. What a terrific first half.
Lance Hughes with 13 first-half points.
Alvarado right back again. Boy, he played well off that bench. 0-0.
6 points for Sonny Alvarado.
With the steal and the dive.
And right here behind us, Alvarado coming over the table in trying to get that steal, and the youngster is down on his all-fours right here behind us as the Texas trainers come over the bench to try to help him.
Ron, he really took a spill. When he got that steal, he jumped right over the table. It was almost like a hurdle. Looked like he hit his left shoulder on that brace, which is where the seats sit.
Well, what an effort by Sonny Alvarado. And you can see Scott Jones, the trainer for Texas. Now he's going to have to take the long walk down the table to get back out on the floor. So let's take a break with him.
What could possibly be as precise as the tolerances within one of the finest Swiss watches available? How about some of the tolerances within the engine and suspension of one of the finest automobiles available? The newest Lexus ES 300. Let others follow.
Hello, Hello from Plank Road, where our man Paul is ready with a simple little demonstration. This is watered down. Ooh, not pretty. This is not watered down. This is Ice House. It's ice brewed, so there's never any watered down taste, and that's why Ice House is always so remarkably smooth when it's going down. So remember, watered down and not watered down. Ice House. Thanks, and enjoy.
Rauchen verboten. Apagare vete, toccati sguardo. Vietato fumare.
In answer to our passengers' requests, Delta Airlines has become the first and only U.S. airline to fly totally smoke-free worldwide.
Well, we're happy to report that Sonny Alvarado was okay. We're going to show you what this kid did. Larry, this young man is 6'7", close to 250 pounds, and talk about effort. Watch this.
Tell you one thing, he makes my all-tattoo team and my all-dive team. I give him about an 8+ on that. Watch him come up with a steal, then he got it back, got it to Anderson. He gets fouled, gets the basket. Alvarado off of the bench having a terrific game. He's going to take a little breather right now.
Alvarado has 6 points. 6 points since he's come off the bench, and a play like that which resulted in a 2-pointer, maybe a 3-pointer if his teammate gets it. You have to say he's singularly responsible for Texas gaining momentum coming back in this late in the first half. Anderson gets it. He's got 15. Boy, Anderson and Hughes have been the scoring machines in this first half, and also Sasser with 11 first-half points for the Red Raiders. Nice drive to the hoop and carve it two. Nobody picked him up.
You know, Ron, that's the point I was going to make. There was nobody there to stop the baseline drive that time. You got to get in there and stop that drive.
Jerry Donahue comes over and tells James Dickey, and it goes to the scorer's table to say that Tech is knocking the ball back onto the court so that it cannot be inbounded quickly. It's a warning. If it happens again, it'll be a technical foul.
Alvarado back in the lineup for Texas. He didn't take much of a breather. I think maybe he may have bruised this brace over here when he hit it.
I'll tell you, that young lady, the female reporter down the way, was diving to save her life.
She had her parachute out.
Yeah, it's a good thing she has quick reactions.
She was bailing in a hurry.
Rencher.
Rencher's starting to feel it now. He's starting to feel it.
That's now 7 points.
Anderson with a steal.
Anderson with the steal and 2 more.
That's what Texas does. They just hit you so quickly like lightning bolts.
And just like that, the Longhorns down by 7. All of a sudden, they're up by 1. 3-pointer on the way. Off the mark. The Red Raiders with another rebound. But big Bernard Lloyd can't get the follow to go.
Rencher again. Is he going to go up? Boy, Anderson really has paid attention to what Tom Penders has said. He has slowed his game down, got himself under control.
Dixon. Dixon misses. Alvarado in the follow, and Lloyd with the block. Alley-oop, boy, it would have sent the roof off this place, but it was just a little too high. Well, coming up at a halftime, it's the Delta Faucet halftime report with Chris Fowler. He'll be talking about Metro Bubble Talk, Digger's Hidden Gems, scores and highlights.
I'll tell you an interesting stat. I was looking at the standings the other day. The Metro Conference was the only league I saw in the country that had every team with an overall above 500 record.
Right. Whistle and a foul away from the ball.
Hey, Ron, I think we're on track for another 100-point-plus game tonight by both these clubs.
Correction. Foul is on number 33, Carlton Dixon. Sorry about that.
Carlton Dixon picks up the foul. They announce Sasser first. It is on Dixon. 33 for Texas. And Dixon goes straight to the bench as he's been replaced. And we have 1 minute, 15 seconds left until halftime. Texas with a 1-point lead. Well, Larry, the last two you and I have done together have been very rough. Haven't they? They have indeed. I'll tell you, in case you missed the early going on this one, we've had an ejection. Carl Simpson of the Longhorns with what was called a flagrant foul with an elbow to the head of Tony Battee. Battee has gone to the bench with a mild concussion. They don't know if he'll return or not.
Now, these clubs had an ugly incident last year, I think you'll recall. At the end of the game, I think that blood is still running a little bad between these two.
Perryman for three. In and out, won't go.
Martin went to get at the car, and a good job by Perryman to get back and stop the pass.
Carl on that baseline pulls up. Jumper is not there. Perryman dishes it off to Rencher.
They can hold it for the last shot. Looks like they're going to.
Yep, and Martin is going to push Anderson out as far as he can. Red Raiders with a 1-point lead. Perryman for three. In and out again. 1 second. And we are at a halftime. So let's take a break here on the South Plain, Lubbock, Texas. It is Texas Tech 51 and the Longhorns of Texas 50. Chris Fowler, let's go back to you at the studio.
Ron, thank you. We called it Bad Blood Thursday. We've had blood, a concussion, and an ejection already, and a typically high-scoring game between these two.
Yeah, and Texas Tech's done a pretty good job. The threes have kept them in, but when you take a look at Texas press, they really come at you when you least expect. They come up with the key steals, but they're fighting for the #1 seed in the Southwest Conference tournament.
And both on a 100-point pace. Coming up on our Delta Faucet halftime report, we'll talk about the Metro Conference. As Larry mentioned, all 7 teams over 500, all of them dreaming of a bid, and 2 of them booking up tonight. It is a mismatch in the early going. That's coming up when we continue.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, brought to you by Lexus, maker of the 1995 ES300. Let others follow. And by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Accidents can happen anytime, and they happen that fast. Trouble is, if you drive after drinking, you can't react that fast. I've handled enough claims to know that designated drivers save lives. They drive and don't drink. Accidents happen, but drinking and driving, that's an accident waiting to happen. Be a good neighbor. Be a designated driver.
In the U.S., there are over 200 million bumps, potholes, and cobblestones. In the Lexus ES300, there are over 96 systems and components designed to isolate vibrations. 200 million versus 96. Sounds fair. The newest Lexus ES300. Let others follow.
Have you had your break today? Is that a McDonald's double cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Could I have a teensy-weensy little bite? Just a nibble?
Okay.
Now McDonald's famous original double cheeseburger or our morning fresh sausage McMuffin with egg is just 95 cents.
Have you had your break today?
95 cents only through the end of February.
How to achieve success.
For me, it's the details. In golf, that means taking it one stroke at a time. And at Jiffy Lube, we do it one car at a time. And we offer the quality of Pennzoil. So even though we've serviced almost 100 million cars, the one that matters most is the one we're working on now.
If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube.
Welcome back to the Delta Faucet Halftime Report. Time now to talk about some bubble teams, and you're the specialist because your Notre Dame teams always seem to be on the bubble on the wrong side. Then when the committee emerged, magically they got in the tournament. The Metro Conference is filled with bubble teams and filled with teams with winning records still thinking about a bid.
Probably all the conferences around the country. This conference, the Metro Conference right now, Chris, is the one that has anything with wackiness. When you take a look, they're all winning. Their power ratings are defense. No one even talks about Southern Mississippi. Tulane's getting beat badly tonight, but when you take a look at what's left with Louisville, yeah, depends on what happens with Samaki Walker. But on the other side of it, Virginia Tech, who knows?
The power ratings you mentioned are good. They're good in the RPI index, not so good in the Sagarin power ratings. The committee uses both power ratings. This will be very interesting, and obviously the end of the season is important. Now, Tulane is visiting South Florida, a team near the bottom of the standings, but the Bulls come out hot. Chucky Atkins misses, but Jerome Robinson with the board and the flush. And then the running of the Bulls. A long way from Pamplona, but Atkins grabs the loose ball, pushes, and finds Jesse Salters for the lay-in. Tulane has not shown up yet, and their Green Wave coming in at 5-4, looking for their 20th victory, a victory that would really help their cause. They're getting blown out so far.
And this really hurts Tulane night. They can't afford to have this kind of loss at this point of the season.
Virginia Tech and VCU also playing. Rams, good defense. Sean Good blocked by George Bird. Then Tyrone McCoy to Sherman Hamilton. Rams down by 3 in the early going. Hokies can play some defense. Ace Custis the steal. Sean Good with the throwdown. 10-6 Hokies, and then Smith with the big dunk right there. That's the Ram. It's a tight game at halftime. Another low-scoring game in the Metro. VCU at home with the 1-point lead. McCoy already with 12 points. St. Bonaventure, one of the most improved teams in the country, according to John Calipari. But early in the second half, they trail by 5 at Rhode Island. The College of Charleston leading the Citadel, or now trailing. The Citadel was trailing early. They come back. They lead by a deuce. That's a local rivalry down there in Charleston. And Marquette and Dayton in the early going, a 4-point lead for the Warriors. When we come back at halftime, we'll have our weekly Hidden Gem. And this guy is really, really hidden. They call him Big Papa. I'll meet him next.
This halftime report is presented by Delta Faucet and your dependable Delta Plumbing Professional. Together, they're the way water is brought to life.
When plumbers hit the road, they carry more than a truckload of faucets and pipes. They carry knowledge about products, like why the finishes and solid brass construction of Delta faucets are right for you. They carry knowledge about styles and knowledge about procedures and codes that tell you they're as committed to perfection as we at Delta are. In fact, there's only one thing as dependable as Delta faucets, and that's the plumber who installs them. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
Today in Montana, the temperature will be absolutely perfect. It'll be perfect in Maine and also in Minnesota, because now every oven in every Pizza Hut restaurant across America will be precisely calibrated to the perfect temperature for an absolutely perfect pizza every time. And as always at Pizza Hut, it'll be...
Come back soon, Mr. Riskin.
...sunny and pleasant, even in Alaska. Hey, it's the stuff we're made of.
Next is Lady. Exceptional sheen. Oh, very good color. Prince. Hands. Oh, such stateliness, such majesty.
Larry!
Larry! For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
The best of show? More?
What could possibly be as precise as the tolerances within one of the finest Swiss watches available? How about some of the tolerances within the engine and suspension of one of the finest automobiles available? The newest Lexus ES300. Let others follow.
Welcome back, Digger Phelps. Hidden Gem, as always on Thursday. You've unearthed some obscure guys in the past, but this guy tops them all, a freshman.
I want to tell you something. We didn't go that far. Right around the corner from Bristol, Connecticut, we found this week's Hidden Gem.
Scott Pippen, Central Arkansas. East State, Charles Oakley, Virginia Union.
Central Connecticut State Center Keith Kloss has a simple defensive philosophy.
Anything that comes my way is going back out.
He's not bragging. The 7'2" freshman broke the Blue Devils' career blocks record in just 16 games. And with 122 rejections, he has become just the 7th freshman in Division I history to reach triple figures in one season, joining names like Bradley, Mourning, and O'Neal. What's the key to his defensive prowess?
Patience. You need a lot of patience. Be able to wait for the ball to leave the other player's hands and then go after it, at the right time.
Against St. Francis, Kloss racked up 13 blocks, just one shy of the Division I single-game record. But he's not just a one-dimensional big man.
He has a tremendous left-handed jump hook. Sometimes it even looks like Kareem when he goes off of 1 foot. When you watch him shoot that shot, you sit there and say, whoa, there's only one other human being I've seen do this and do this that well.
Still, Kloss must get heavier and stronger. He weighs just 200 pounds, but that doesn't stop him from strictly adhering to his defensive philosophy.
It's the only way anyone's going to really respect our school or respect me for any fact because of how thin I am. They think they can take advantage of me and prove them wrong.
When you take a look at the freshman, he is from, you got it, Baldwin Park, California. Not many people do that. Recruited by Utah, Maryland, lefty, great stats. Probably going to become, as you see the year go by, this kid about a year from now is going to say, if I put on 30 pounds, I'll be the new Sean Bradley. I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
I don't know about Mark Adams calling him the next Kareem. He's going to be the recruit of the century. If you got out of California to New Britain, Connecticut.
57%, baby, from the field as a freshman. That's a great stat.
I'm impressed. He is really well hidden. Tunji Awajobi, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 8 blocks for Boston. Northeastern wins their 9th conference game. They had only 2 last year. Xavier remains, or trying to remain, undefeated in their conference, and the only other team unbeaten in the conference so far. And Xavier up by 20 over Illinois Chicago. More at halftime in a minute.
No rumors. No hiding. No 7-second sound bites. Only one network takes you inside the courtroom every day and night for a full-strength look at real trials in action. Court TV. Live trials all day, the full story every night. Analysis from television's largest legal team. Court TV. Real trials. Real people. Different television.
Considering what your business has to figure,
25, 130. How much time we got left?
you may not have figured that if your business uses AT&T, you're probably on the wrong calling plan. Over half of AT&T's customers are, which is why hundreds of thousands of businesses are trading in AT&T and investing in Proof. MCI will analyze your AT&T bill and give you proof positive, written proof of how much your business can save by switching to MCI, proving once again the only savings that are true are the ones you can see.
Welcome back to the Delta Faucet Halftime Report. Last year, Temple and UMass, Mike Williams of the Minutemen was the difference.
Give another one. Big matchup, Mike Williams, Eddie Jones. Here's a clear out. What a three. In the air. Got it! That is one of the more memorable shots in the history of UMass basketball. Mike Williams with a big bank three.
He is suspended from our basketball team. He's still in school. He's still on a grant and aid. He'll have a grant and aid for the next term if he needs it to finish up in this summer. But as far as basketball, he's no longer on our team.
Williams had 15 points, a quarter of the Minutemen offense when they beat Temple by a point earlier this season. The rematch coming up at 9:30. This series famous for wire chops. 7 of the last 17 by 2 points or less. Then Bad Blood Thursday continues. The Bruins need this one for a #1 seed. Cal needs every win for the NCAA tournament. The second half from Lubbock is coming up next.
Science is best done in an interactive environment. You have to have this incredible curiosity and you have to figure out how it works. You're not learning something that someone else has written down. You get to discover that. And the best time for a scientist is when you get a result that is exactly the opposite of what you thought was going to happen. Because in that brief moment of time, the whole world changes.
Glaxo, on the brink of discovery.
It's everybody working together that's going to beat the disease.
They are doers and dreamers, builders and leaders. They are the people who make this world grow. And though we take them to over 200 business centers, though we fly over 500,000 business travelers a week, we remain committed to serving each and every one at a time.
Have you had your break today? Is that a McDonald's double cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Could I have a teensy-weensy little bite? Just a nibble?
Okay.
Now McDonald's famous original double cheeseburger or our morning fresh sausage McMuffin with egg is just 95 cents.
Have you had your break today?
95 cents only through the end of February.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, brought to you by Beechwood-aged Budweiser. It's always been true, this Bud's for you. And by Chrysler Plymouth and your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
"51-50" our halftime score. The home folks leading by 1 over the Longhorns of Texas. And we had to show you the shot right here. This little lady goes to Digger Phelps Barber, and who also does coloration. Anyway, some of the fans here tonight to see the Red Raiders taking on the Longhorns. Larry, in looking at the first half, a really interesting number. The last time the Texas Tech and Texas played, Red Raiders had 29 turnovers. They had 9 in the first half. But the thing that was difficult, they didn't get points off the turnover in the first half.
Yeah, they didn't. But I'll tell you, in the first half, they had 2 outstanding stars. Lance Hughes really led this Red Raider club. And I'm talking about both inside and outside. Watch him follow up this rebound down on the inside on the miss. Ham battling with it, then he gets it, sticks it back in. He had 13 in the first half, but he can also shoot from the outside. He was 3 of 4 from three-point range. Lance Hughes with the big 13 points and 5 rebounds in that first half. But it was also Jason Sasser. He had 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Opportunistic, right place, right time. Sasser right there to put it back in. Wasn't just Texas Tech, though. Roderick Anderson was outstanding on defense for Texas in the first half. Here you see one of his steals and one of his baskets. Roderick Anderson came up with big numbers in the first half with 17.
Well, let's look at the FIBA first half stats. 56% field goal percentage for the Red Raiders. Rebounds, they lead by 4 over Texas, but at points off turnover, what I was talking about, 12-2, and a big margin defensively. That's been the big stat for the Texas Longhorns. Individually, Anderson 17, Lance Hughes with 13.
Jason Sasser also had 13 in that first half.
Anderson on the penetration. Nobody picked him up.
Number 12, Roderick Anderson.
Tell you one thing you're going to see when you see Texas and Texas Tech play in Lubbock. You're going to get 200 points whether you want it or not.
Isn't that the truth? Three-pointer on the way, not there. And Texas comes up with a rebound by McIver. One of the things that Tech did a good job of in the first half is Wingfield catches Texas Tech not doing a good job in transition.
Well, Texas opens up the second half with 2 quick buckets.
Sasser has it taken away by Rencher.
Look at them push. Well, they continue to push the ball. So much pressure.
Anderson passes up the 3. Goes in the corner to Freeman.
Texas Tech's changed defenses. They've gone to a man-to-man. They've gone out of that zone.
Texas trying to take advantage of it, and another penetration.
And immediately the recognition, and James Dickey says, let's talk. 20-20.
So it's 56-51. Let's take a look at this penetration here.
Well, once again, the recognition by the Texas offense. You can see the move right there by Reggie Freeman. Once he sees the man-to-man defense, it's simply one-on-one. He's going to take Davis. A good move because Davis has got 3 fouls.
It's a great point, because the minute he came back on the floor, you got to make him a guy with the X on his chest and say, here's a guy that we got to take advantage of.
Well, they hit the target that time. They went right to the basket. And a good move by Reggie Freeman. Out of the Bronx, New York, he and Terrence Rencher. Kind of an interesting mix, I think, that Tom Pender's been able to put in here. Boys in the hood, boys on the hood.
Good way to put it, yeah. 56-51 and the 6-0 run by the Longhorns. McIver got fooled, got caught up in the air. Crowd thought that he was trying to rough him up, but the situation was he suspended him, and he was trying to keep him from coming up underneath his head. Watch it.
The one thing you want to make sure of is you don't want to allow this guy to make the basket. Just make sure he doesn't get it up. He did.
So McIver now with 3 fouls. First foul of the second half against Texas.
I always like those guys that commit real good fouls. You know, you just don't allow the guy to get the shot off. Don't maim anybody. Don't hurt anybody. You know, but just don't let him get the shot off. Not those ticky-tacks. Make sure you get your money's worth.
McIver started off at the University of Michigan and then transferred to Texas. The crowd doesn't always like that, though, when one of the home guys gets sent flying. 3-point game, Texas.
Well, you'll hear coaches talk about that. You know, say just foul them hard, don't hurt them. Just don't let them get the basket.
Screen out high. Anderson tries to work off that, works for the penetration, and throws it away. As Mark Davis was just standing right there in the passing lane, and Rencher is going to be called for a kick.
Well, what a great catch that was by the official. That ball was moving very quickly down through there, and Rusty Herring picked it up and said, well, I saw it kick. No argument from Rencher either. What's the move? Davis trying to come across the lane right here. Rencher, you know what? He got it with his hand. He did. He got it with his hand. That happened so quickly, I didn't know how the official could see that, but he did. He got it with his hand. But they don't have the luxury of being able to look at the tape.
That's right. You can bet when Tom Pender sees it on the tape, though, he will grimace. 10 points. Up over the back, McIver has just picked up his 4th. And Alvarado with the warm-up off, and he'll come right back in.
What a luxury Tom Penders has to be able to reach down on that bench and grab somebody like Alvarado to put in for McIver.
But now, with the fact that Simpson is in the locker room having been ejected, it means that Alvarado has got to stay foul-free in the second half.
Well, you're a little short on the front court when you've got one of your mainstays in there watching the game. Assuming he's got a TV. Good ball movement by Texas Tech.
Good look. Sasser misses the ball at point-blank range, then has it picked out of his hands. It'll stay with the Red Raiders, though.
Boy, did Martin make a nice pass to Sasser inside.
1-point game. Rencher this time against Martin. Can't get it, but Wingfield on the follow. And Rencher right there, nobody boxed him out.
Well, they didn't, but they didn't block out on the inside Tremaine Wingfield either. Texas up by 3 and back in the zone.
Martin and Ham battle for it. The bounce pass comes out to Anderson, and Davis will block it. Freeman right there to follow, and all he could do is try to block it with the 3 fouls.
Hey, you know what? Davis just turned and looked at his teammates and said, where are you guys? I made my defensive play. I blocked the ball. You should have been here to help me, and I agree with him. He's right. Texas back in what looks like a man-to-man defense. They keep changing. A little matchup zone. Alvarado took the fake.
Sasser, another one of those rainbow arches. 3-point game. Tech cuts it back.
There's that 1-4 alignment again, Texas Tech. They want to isolate. Got such good guards, they can handle it one-on-one. Now they move back into a zone.
Rencher for 3. Hughes unlucky on that shot. Hughes and Perryman both have had shots that looked like they went all the way down and came back out. Turnover. It's Mark Davis. Martin behind the back to Ham, and he missed it.
Well, Martin has made some great passes tonight, and they've just not been able to finish.
Freeman.
Number 31.
Well, that is a tough 3-guard lineup when you've got those guys out there. Freeman, Anderson, and Rencher.
Freeman has now got 16. Roderick Anderson with 19, and Rencher with 9.
Not bad to have a guy like Reggie Freeman come off the bench for you.
Sasser for 3. Nope, they say 2. I beg your pardon. Had a foot on the line. 19 points for Sasser.
Tell you what, you could call a 20-second timeout between the release of his shot and the time it goes through the net. And take it and have everybody on the bench and come back.
We've already played the first 5 minutes of the second half. This thing is steaming along. Wingfield.
In and out. Won't go. They battle inside and a foul on Alvarado. Good job by Jerry Donahue. Broke that one up before it became too bad. Alvarado went one way. Jason Sasser the other. With a little help from their teammates. Down Rutledge, a little conversation with Alvarado. They get locked up in the arms right here.
So let's take a break. We'll be right back.
The most interesting moment in the course of the praying mantis mating ritual occurs at the point in the proceedings when she, the female mantis, surprises the male and bites his head off. Unless, of course, he's quick enough to get away. The mantis by Sheila.
It's happening. Only the people who invented America's best-selling minivans could have a sale like this. The Chrysler Plymouth National Minivan Sale is here. Get up to $1,000 cash back or 4.9% financing on Plymouth Voyager, Premier Grand Voyager, and Chrysler Town & Country. Include option package values and it's up to $2,100 off. But it won't last long. The Chrysler Plymouth National Minivan Sale. Only at the minivan store at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Tech was up by 1 at halftime. Now it's the Longhorns up by 3. Watch Mark Davis work into the corner. Calling for the ball, wanting a 3. Doesn't get it. The turnover. Now watch what he does. Watch his reaction. He's moving. He sees the ball's lost. Now he's going to follow it up. He sees Anderson. Anderson sees him. Watch the block. Now he did his job, but nobody's there to help him. What does Davis say? Hey guys, I need some help. Where are you? I agree with you, Mark. You should be complaining to your teammates.
You know, Larry, he went out in the first half with his 3rd foul. And he went out with 8 points. He had been a huge contributor early. He has not scored a point since he went out. Texas second half 55 shooting percentage. Sasser again. Sasser now with 21 points. 1-point game. Texas leads.
Sasser already over his average for the year, averaging 18 a game. Look at Anderson get inside. Oh, what a steal. How about that for quickness?
Sasser looked down and Anderson just went underneath him. Boy, he's quick.
Don't blink. Don't even nod. Don't even think. Just get out of his way.
Anderson on the clear out. Passed up the three again.
Well, Tom Penders must have really got the message to him. There it is.
Well, he left open that time, but he passed it up. Yeah. Freeman for three. The wife of James Dickey.
She's happy after that one.
Red Raiders go back on top by one. Anderson trying an alley-oop as the ball is tipped. Texas Tech will come back with it. Hughes for three.
Oh, Cousins. He just let it rip. Two guys running at him.
66-62. Longhorns came out in the second half with a 6-0 run. But the Red Raiders have answered it, and they're up by 4.
Well, I'm so impressed the way these two clubs push the ball offensively. It is so tough to play a team like that. They're so athletic and shoot it well.
Texas with two very careless ball handling, back-to-back possessions, and a timeout is called by Texas. Well, following our game, we'll be taking up to McGonigal Hall. Temple will take on number 5 UMass. And that will not be a lot of fun as John Saunders and Bill Raftery standing by. 9:30 Eastern Time. UMass and Temple next here on ESPN.
Big battle in the Atlantic 10. Temple a little bit of a bubble team right now, trying to work their way into that NCAA tournament. Mass a lot, battling to try to get a number 1 seed.
Tech on a 9-0 run.
There's James Dickey. What a job he's done here at Texas Tech. Started out 5-6 this year. They are now 15-7 and 10-0 at home. Done a terrific job for this Red Raider club.
I think one of the things that really helped them was a tournament over the holidays. He went out to Tucson and played in the Copper Bowl tournament out there. Played very, very well. Made it to the finals. They were beaten by Arizona in the finals. But they seemed to gain a lot of confidence with that trip. Hughes back to Martin.
Wants to take Anderson. And does. Just
Wingfield with the rebound. It's a big possession right there, and Texas needs to score right here to kind of stop the bleeding. It's a 9-0 run by the Red Raiders. They've had 2 back-to-back turnovers as they've come down. Freeman, and that will stop it right there.
Number 30. No challenge on that wing. Freeman went right down to the block and just shot a little 8-foot runner. You got to come out and challenge a guy on that shot. Sasser just turned and watched him go down inside.
Sasser, nice move in the middle.
Well, whatever he lacks on defense, he more than makes up for on offense. Guy's having a career night.
Sasser now with 23 points. Renchard looked at the three, then passed it up. Everybody has had a better concept about shooting a three since Penders erupted against Anderson. And as soon as I say it, Anderson shoots a 22-footer.
Did not register a complaint from Tom Penders.
Nope, he didn't blink. I don't think he believes in curbing the aggressiveness of his players, but the one that Anderson took early when he jumped on him was ill-timed and too far out.
Look at Texas Tech on the backboard.
Davis misses with the short jumper.
Look at Richard push. Well, they're using a lot of easy ones. Both clubs inside now.
Hit by Anderson, goes in the air, and Wingfield, can he save it? No, knocked out of bounds by Texas. So let's take a break. 10:01 left of the ball game.
Isn't it just like Delta?
Let's make it really cool.
To design a faucet that's at both the height of style and practicality. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
It's happening. Only America's hottest car company could have a sale like this. The National Chrysler Plymouth sale is here. Get up to $1,200 off the friendly Plymouth Neon. Over $1,600 off the luxury family sedan Chrysler Concorde. And over $1,800 off the luxurious Chrysler New Yorker. Now's the time to save like never before. But it won't last long. The National Chrysler Plymouth sale. Only at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
The most interesting moment in the course of the praying mantis mating ritual occurs at the point in the proceedings when she, the female mantis, surprises the male and bites his head off. Unless, of course, he's quick enough to get away. The Mantis, by Sheila.
Battle of bubble teams at Richmond Coliseum, Virginia Tech and VCU. Sean Good steps in, shows the quickness and the nice finish. And right now, 42-41, Hokies up by 1. We'll keep an eye on the bubble teams. Ron, back to you.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Our situation, Texas Tech 68-64. One of the guys in attendance tonight, Joe B. Hall, former head coach at Kentucky.
And was also the assistant my senior year at Kentucky. And he's down here to talk to James Dickey. Flew down with a group of other people from Kentucky. And, of course, James was an assistant for him up in Kentucky for a couple of years. Down here to maybe lend a little more support to his club and to the man. Joe B. Hall, maybe didn't get enough credit for the good job he did at Kentucky while he was there.
Hughes. You see, Perryman couldn't stay with him, and you have to wonder how long Tom Penders will go with that matchup.
I'm telling you, no conscience. The guy will let it fly from anywhere. I love watching him shoot.
Hughes now with 19 points. Freeman shot is blocked. Perryman will come back with it.
This guy can shoot it.
Alvarado picks up the foul, and that's going to be his third.
Foul is on number 3, Sonny Alvarado, his third foul.
You know what's been lost in all this transition basketball in the second half is the fact that Texas Tech does not have a foul so far in this last 20 minutes. You can see the foul right here by Alvarado as he just simply goes up over the back.
So that is 14 fouls against Texas. And as Larry said, none against the Red Raiders in the second half. And we are under 10 minutes to play in the ballgame. And now it appears as though Texas is going to turn up the heat a little bit defensively.
That's a good move by Tom Penders. Come out and put the pressure on him.
Anderson with the steal. Gets it off to Alvarado. And he will go uncontested with the left-handed game.
We're going to have a few verbal comments from guys in the red shirts underneath the basket down there, too.
Sonny said, this is not a primary for me. I'm not looking for votes. Stolen again. Anderson with the quick hands, and he's called for the double dribble.
Roderick Anderson with almost another great steal. Tom Penders is saying he was held. No complaining from Anderson. I like the way a guy goes out and just plays. Just shows you, doesn't tell you how he plays, shows you how he plays. Now he's going to get a foul.
Anderson picks up the violation. It's going to be his second. 15 foul against the Longhorns in this half. Sasser, 25 now.
He just finds ways to make baskets. I mean, that time he threaded his way between two defenders in there. Had an easy layup.
Anderson way outside, and he swishes this one.
12, Roderick Anderson.
Back to a 4-point game.
Well, they've got the tools. They can bring it down very quickly.
Anderson with 22 now. Frencher continues to get some resting time on the bench. And Hughes has been called for an elbow.
Tell you what happens here. Tommy Penders really does a nice job defensively. Watch Hughes try to get across here, and he just simply sticks an elbow in. There it is, right there. He got caught. Penders is already applauding the call.
James Dickey came off the bench and jumped on his star player and said, I don't care what. You can't lose your composure. And that's what both coaches have tried to get across to their players tonight. Big game, a lot of tension, but composure is so very important. Freeman for three. He's not there. Wingfield on the long carry.
Anderson wanted to take one, but Hughes was there to deny him.
Freeman says, I'll take the three, and knocks it down.
Well, these guys love to shoot threes.
It is a one-point ball game. Oh, it's been one streak after another, Larry.
Well, the Texas Tech zone has really forced Texas to go to that outside, and they shoot the three so well. They're shooting 37% for the year.
Martin loses the ball, and here's Anderson. See if Martin will contest it or not. And he missed it, and right there with the follow with Freeman, and that's a great job of hustle by Freeman. And immediately Dickey is up, and James says, I want a timeout, as Texas goes back on top. So we'll take the timeout. 74-73 Longhorns.
Have you ever been to a car dealership when you just weren't ready to buy that day, so they weren't even ready to talk to you that day? Well, that won't happen at Classic, because we're people too, and we know it takes time to make a car buying decision. That's what makes buying from Classic such a pleasant experience, because we share your excitement at finding just the right car or truck. I'm Don Tambour, promising for your next Honda, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, GMC truck, or Toyota, you will feel closer to a Classic. Exit 254, Round Rock.
When you decide to build your home, there are many questions to be answered, like where will you build your home? Who's going to build it? And who's going to finance it? Well, let me make one decision just a little easier for you. First Texas Bank is helping builders make the construction of your new home possible, and we're happy to assist with your mortgage application. With our solid foundation, First Texas Bank is building a sturdier, more financially sound tomorrow for you.
Sports just aren't exciting enough.
For preppy cheerleaders, college hoops is Saturday. Connecticut Lady Huskies face Syracuse, then Alabama meets Florida on ESPN2.
So guys, what are your thoughts on Dallas?
Well, we were watching a lot of tapes for the offseason, and Tony and I both feel that it's the best show ever made.
Joan Collins, unbelievable.
Joan Collins is dynasty, you idiot.
Oh, yeah.
The Longhorns are forced back into the lead. I want to show you something. Roderick Anderson was complaining about being fouled. Watch Martin step on his heel right here as he goes in. Anderson going up. Look at that, right there. Stepped on his right heel. He turned around to the official to say something. By that time, they'd already followed up and gotten the basket. So Anderson, a legitimate complaint.
Well, he's still smiling, but you have to wonder, that's that we were wondering out loud how he just doesn't miss breakaways like that, and that's the reason. Biggest lead, Texas by 5. Richard Anderson, 31 points and 8 assists between the two of them. And for Texas Tech, biggest lead of 7. Right now, it is a 1-point Longhorn lead.
That 7 came here in the last couple of minutes, and Texas has really jumped on Texas Tech the last 2 minutes. And the man defense by Texas. Hughes is calling for the ball down inside. He wants to try to take Penders. Good switch by Freeman. Somebody forgot Davis.
Davis, as Larry said, all of a sudden a forgotten man, and that's the first 2 points that he has since he went to the bench with that 3rd foul back in the first half. I would say Texas Tech needs him desperately if they're going to stay in this one coming down the stretch. Would you?
Absolutely. He's got to be one of the offensive stars, as well as Sasser has played, and also Lance Hughes. Freeman. Oh, my goodness.
Freeman he has come off the bench with 26 points. Wow. And now Terrence Richard has had a good long rest, and he's about to check back in. Hughes.
I tell you, some of these guys are going to have career nights. Lance Hughes has been terrific, too.
We have had 10 lead changes in this ball game. Right now, we're tied at 77.
That's the way it's supposed to be when these two get together.
What was it last year? 105, 103. Anderson, short. Follows it over the back. Davis got the block. Possibly got away with the foul.
Number 15, Terrence Richard in for Texas.
There you see the games. 92, Texas wins 93-90. In fact, those 2 wins by Texas Tech in the last 15 games these two have played, Texas has won 13 of the 15. The only 2 they've lost, they had to go into triple figures, and Texas Tech has won both of them.
That's right. It was 2 years ago. It was 105, 103. That was the highlight that we showed back in the first half when Flemings got a loose ball inside as the clock ran out and put it back up for 2 points.
There he is right there. A hulking figure, I might add.
Yeah. Freeman has got 16 second-half points, Larry.
I'll tell you what, he has been the star for this Texas club. He's led them back.
He really has.
That's the reason they're tied right now.
And it was Alvarado late in the first half that got him back in it after Texas Tech had just taken the momentum away. Shot clock now under 10. Anderson splits the difference. Back to Freeman. Rensher for 3.
Trouble, had nowhere to go. He was fortunate to have Sasser streaking down the floor.
Sasser now with 27 points.
Texas Tech back in that zone defense. They're trying to free Rensher, Freeman, or Rensher. Anderson's out there.
Hughes will pick up the violation. It's his second. Only the second team foul on Texas Tech, though. And Larry, that's really, really large as far as coming down the stretcher with only 4:20 left in the ball game.
Well, it could be very big because Texas is not known as a good free throw shooting team.
Alvarado goes out of the game. McIver, who comes back in, is playing with 4 fouls.
There's the man.
Anderson had the 3. He passed it up.
Oh, what a threesome that is on the perimeter. You got Anderson on the left, Freeman in the middle, Rensher on the right.
Anderson says, I'll penetrate and kick it back outside. Freeman for 3 misses that one. And a foul is called on Sasser. Pushing off on Wingfield. So for Sasser, that's going to be his 3rd foul.
Foul is on number 33, Jason Sasser. His 3rd foul, team foul number 3.
A lot of fouls to give yet for both of these clubs because Texas only has 5. They can give one more before they put the Red Raiders in the bonus.
Anderson for 3. Hughes for the rebound. Here's a streaking Sasser. They have numbers, and he will take it himself.
That was a great pass by Hughes. A quick look up the floor. Don't dribble it up if you can pass it up. Got a real seesaw affair now. Texas Tech back on top by 4.
This is the way it's gone, one streak after another. Can Texas grab the momentum and have another streak? Anderson for three. Wow.
Number 12, Roderick Anderson, 3.
Anderson now with 25.
You never know who's going to launch those ICBMs. They got so many guys out there.
Well, we've seen some wonderful individual performances in this one as we're about to go under 3 minutes to play. Martin, and it's partially blocked by Freeman and a shot inside. Wingfield with the foul, and you'll get an opportunity for a three-point play. Mark Davis with a big basket.
This guy's got 9 double-doubles this year. In fact, one of the things I was interested in noting about him was he's the first Texas Tech player in history to record 200 rebounds and 100 assists. You know what? He's going to break that. Break it this year from what he did last year. He's already got 189 rebounds and 99 assists coming into this game.
Completes the three-point play. And there's a timeout, so we'll take it with him. 2:56 left in the ball game. Red Raiders by 4.
When we asked two-time Indy winner Emerson Fittipaldi to be involved in the development of the Chrysler Cirrus, it wasn't to have him help sell the car. It was to have him help refine it. He pushed it to the limits around the track. He made suggestions. The engineers listened. The engineers made suggestions, and he listened. The result of this collaboration is a specially modified double wishbone suspension system unlike any other on the road today. The Chrysler Cirrus, Motor Trend's car of the year. It's not just a step above. It's the new plateau.
Time to wash up.
Isn't it just like Delta to design a stylish faucet that's practical too?
Give me that.
So it's long enough to reach today's double and even triple sinks. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
Need a towel?
How you doing? Name's Red Dog. Red Dog. Now, I see a lot of you dogs out there yipping and yapping, chasing after anything that moves. Well, you know, sometimes you ought to lay low. And even when someone's trying to yank your chain, just let it ride. Red Dog. Be your own dog. So when something good does come your way, Red Dog beer. Bold yet smooth, easy to drink. You can make the most of it.
In the city of brotherly love, there exists a long history tied to this fine country. It is also home to one of the most intense rivalries in college basketball. The Minutemen have won the last 6 meetings. The Owls seek this night to secure yet another NCAA bid. Up next, UMass invades Temple.
Hey, we don't need anything on it. We don't need any graphics. We'll just let the audience tell everybody what's going on.
84-80, our score. Texas Tech leading the Longhorns.
It's amazing how much they follow our programming.
Yeah, it is.
Big possession right here for Texas.
Anderson. Dish the ball off. McIver misses. Wingfield on the follow. Has it taken away by Texas Tech and a save by Davis.
Well, Mark Davis has really come on in the last 5 minutes. He had a good first half while he was in there. Really had to go to the bench for those 3 fouls, but really has turned it on here in the last 5 minutes.
Blair, we're about to go under 2 minutes. Hughes dishes it off. Sasser can't get it to go to Dam on the foul. Anderson turned around and looked at Tom Penders. He said, you want me to slow it up? And Penders motioned toward the basket. Take it on in and let's get something going. 6-point margin and a turnover against the Longhorns. And Davis will miss the jump, but the Red Raiders come back with it.
And he starts to think a little bit about taking some time off of that clock. You got a 6-point lead. You don't want to rush things right now. They've been rushing it all night long. Davis, what a shot.
Biggest lead of the night, 8 points for the Red Raiders. Rencher penetrates, not there. Davis with the rebound. And a foul called on Terrence Rincher with 72 seconds left.
When you start reading the story tomorrow about this basketball game, you're going to see a lot of heroes. Well, I'm going to tell you what, nobody has stepped up bigger than Mark Davis has in the last 4 or 5 minutes. When Texas made that run, it was Davis that came back. Look at this move inside. Oh, that's terrific. By a guy 6'7", 210.
Number 42, Mark Davis. Shooting 1 and 1.
Davis with 8 second-half points, and they've all come in the last 3.5 minutes, Larry.
He has been absolutely astounding.
So now a 9-point margin.
They need threes in a hurry. They've got the right guys in there to shoot them.
Anderson pumps, not there. On the follow. 1 minute. Scored with McIver, and Texas will call a timeout. So it's a 7-point ball game with 60 seconds left, and we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
You still make a great lasagna.
My son is making it now. I'll tell you, a while back, I didn't think there'd be a restaurant for him.
This place, it's always busy.
Well, that wasn't the problem. It was everything else. It was insurance and health plans. My guy at Penweber, he helped me out with all that.
The stockbroker.
Yes, he even set us up with a 401k.
I guess you must really know how important this place is to your family.
Yeah. Because he took the time to ask.
When I got dentures, I decided they weren't going to stop me. And they haven't. I can get as close as I want in the morning and still feel as confident as I need to at lunch.
Even in the hottest liquids, when other adhesives stop holding, Fix-It-N holds stronger and longer.
Sure, I have dentures, but from morning to night, I don't have to give up a thing. Not a thing.
For the strongest, longest hold, Fix-It-N and forget it.
89-82, Texas Tech leads with exactly 1 minute left to play. And this is the way it looks coming down the home stretch. 2 timeouts apiece, 7 fouls Texas, and 3 for Texas Tech.
You know what? Now that's something you got to think about. If you're Texas Tech and you're James Dickey, you go out and foul. You know, just put the ball in position, just go out and foul them, as long as they're not taking shots.
9-0 run by Texas Tech. That has been the last spurt of the game, and it's been a game of spurts by both teams. Texas got to get something done in a hurry there here if they're going to stay alive, though they're down by 7. Penders picks up the foul. First one on him, but it's the 8th team foul. Rincher comes back into the lineup, and Penders will go to the bench.
You know, Ron, I guess for everybody who follows college basketball out there, they all realize the Southwest Conference is going to be gone. There's a new league going to be formed, and these 2 teams here are going to be part of that new league, joining up with the Big 8. Texas Tech coming in with some awfully good teams out of that Big 8.
Baylor and Texas A&M, the other clubs that will join the men from the north. Sasser knocks down his 30th point.
This from a guy who's averaging 18 for the year.
Sasser gets them both, and it's a 9-point Tech lead. Freeman for 3. Rincher on the follow. He scores at an opportunity in a 3-point play.
See, if you're Hughes there, Lance Hughes has just got to back away and let him have that shot. You don't want to stop the clock and give him a chance to score while there's no time going on.
Team foul number 4 for 22, Tommy Penders, and for Texas,
Watch again. Here's the miss by Freeman. Ball comes off. The rebound is long. Rencher right there to gather. Now watch here. You know, really, he was just backing up. I'm not sure there was a foul, but the call was made anyway.
Rencher shoots. That 2 points by Rencher just a moment ago is only 2 points this half. Picks up the foul, and that is just about going to do it, as he will go to the line with an opportunity to make it a 10-point ball game.
Watch this reaction after the shot. He's going up, releases, down. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Here he is, shaking his head in disbelief. Come on, get up and go shoot your free throws. Everybody helping you and smiling. One of the reasons these clubs are playing as hard as they are tonight is because they're battling for the supremacy in this conference. Because the team that finishes first gets a bye. They don't have to play that first day. They only have 7 teams playing in the tournament.
That's right, because of the probation on Baylor. Perryman for 3. Knocks it down to 28.7 seconds. And Texas calls a timeout, and it is a 6-point game.
3 points. Timeout, Texas.
Don't forget, coming up immediately following this one, UMass and Temple. And, of course, we all don't remember what happened last year. It was not on the court. What happened in the post game. And, of course, all of that has been said and done and hopefully forgotten. We know it has been forgotten. But 9:30 Eastern Time, John Saunders and Bill Raftery. Stand by to bring that.
That's a couple of pretty good referees. They could get out here and call it.
Our situation, Texas Tech with a 1-point lead at halftime, 51-50. And right now, with 28.7 seconds left, they lead it by 6 points. Current standings in the Southwest Conference, Tech led by a half game over the Longhorns coming into this one. And if they hold on, it's going to be 10-2 and 8-3 for the Longhorns. So a big one, but of course, representative going to the NCAA tournament. Whoever wins the conference tournament in this one. I guess what the SEC is the only one that does it the other way.
Yeah, the Southeastern Conference uses the seasonal champion, whoever has the best record, and they declare co-champions if they're tied. Then if there was a game played, which there obviously is, then they split those and it becomes a tie-breaking situation within that league. But most of the conferences around the country really do use their tournament champion as a representative for the NCAA tournament.
Sasser fouled in the backcourt. It could have either been either Freeman or Anderson. And it's going to be Freeman they call the foul on.
Number 32, Richie Freeman. His 3rd foul.
You know, Ron, it's been enjoyable watching these two clubs go at each other tonight, and I came in here fully expecting to see a game somewhere in the 90s or somewhere in the triple digits for both clubs, and history would lead you to believe that. But tonight, I saw a lot of excellent play on the part of both of these teams.
You know, I think if Tom Penders had had his druthers in this ballgame, that if he could have controlled the pace more, I think he would have gone to a little lower scoring basketball game than we have right now, don't you?
Oh, I think so too. But sometimes you get caught up in the game. I mean, you know, you've got a strategy. You want to employ that strategy. You want to put it out there and make it work. But sometimes the game, it just dictates itself. It has a mind of its own. You got to play and go with the flow.
Follow not there. Ham up over the top commits the foul.
I'll say one thing about Ham. He loves to play around up in that ozone, doesn't he?
Boy, he can really go. Only the first foul on him, though. Team foul number 5 against Texas Tech. So UMass and Temple coming up. Saunders and Raftery standing by for that one. Freeman way outside. Off the back iron. Martin will rebound. And the foul by Freeman with 13.4 seconds left. Betty Dickey. And I think that is James Dickey's father, who was sitting right next, holding his granddaughter. Betty Dickey was inducted into the Arkansas Hall of Fame. She was a great women's basketball player for the Longhorns.
Wonder what their conversations are like when they go home. You sit around and talk about X's and O's?
I tell you, that's one situation where your wife might make you bring your work home because she wants to talk. She understands it well. Betty Dickey was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Arkansas when they opened the new arena up there. Tender shot blocked by Davis. And it's academic now as the ball goes high in the air, and Texas Tech will win it 96-87. Tom Penders and James Dickey with the handshake at the end of the ball game, and we'll say so long from Lubbock. For Larry Conley, Ron Franklin saying so long, everybody. Chris Fowler, back to you.
So why not get your property into the best shape ever and keep it that way?